actually it was a couple of weeks ago, asked this question. She said, okay, sometimes I'll do simple, gentle exercise and I'll get a flare up of my fibromyalgia. Is that common? Why does that happen? What can I do about that? And so it's a really important question because, first of all, what's a flare up? For most people, a flare up, when they say a fibro flare, what's going on is some combination of increased pain, fatigue, muscle soreness, brain fog, or sometimes other symptoms. Could be a flare up of gastrointestinal symptoms, itching, other various things, because fibromyalgia can be complex depending on the person. And what I'm going to share is relevant to other stuff. It's not just about fibro. What I want to talk about in this video is basically what is a fibromyalgia flare, what triggers it and why, and what can you do about it. This is going to be kind of an overview, and we're going to talk about the other aspects of it and deeper aspects of it in future videos. So I encourage you to, first of all, watch the end, hear what you can, and get on my email community, because I also send these videos out in blogs and I send notifications about new content. And so if you want to learn more about the integration of conventional medicine, integrative medicine, natural healing, it's a good address. So jump on in with me and let's see what we can learn together. So what causes a fibro flare? First thing is, let's understand a bit about fibro. And I'm going to go beyond what they taught me in medical school and residency. And the conventional view is, well, fibromyalgia is increased pain sensitivity along with a bunch of other symptoms, and we don't really know what causes it. And on some level that's true, and on another level it's just not true. We know a lot about the underlying biological imbalances that go on in fibromyalgia. We know, for instance, that many people have one or more of the following issues: imbalance in the autonomic nervous system, impaired mitochondrial energy production, low-grade inflammation. Sometimes there's gut disturbances and inflammation and leaky gut. It's a constellation of biological imbalances that all interact with each other, which frequently seem to be associated with driving the symptoms. My suspicion is the reason conventional medicine says we don't understand it is because it's complex and multifactorial, and it becomes really hard to understand from kind of a rigorous science perspective when you got too many variables and you can't control them so easily. So you can't really do studies that show, oh yeah, A causes B. It's not like that. It's A plus B plus C plus D plus E causes F, or whatever it is. Complex cycle of interactions. It's holistic, and so conventional medicine doesn't know what to do with that. Okay, so what's going on with fibro? There's evidence that points to the idea that a common focal point of what determines cellular function is your mitochondria. These are the organs that live inside your cells that produce energy. They are spinning all the time, making ATP, which is your cellular energy source. And there's a bunch of things that can throw mitochondrial function off balance. And when mitochondrial function goes down and the mitochondria gets sick, they drive those other things. So for instance, inflammation and the biochemical or oxidative stress it causes creates mitochondrial dysfunction. And when the mitochondria get dysfunctional, they create oxidative stress. Vicious cycle. Overactive stress response, mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondrial dysfunction creates a bunch of stuff that can feed into distress, pain, anxiety, and create an overactive stress response. Inflammation, biochemical toxicity, overexertion, stress hormones, these things are all connected with each other. I suspect, and many people in my world, which is more of an integrative or functional medicine world, that's the way we look at it, that it's this multifactorial thing that causes a fibro flare. And that's why you can be triggered to have a fibro flare by overexerting yourself, a whole bunch of mental or emotional distress, eating the wrong stuff and distressing your gut, some kind of biochemical stressor. If you got chemical sensitivity and you smell some strong smells, if you get exposed to a bunch of electromagnetic radiation, different people have different sensitivities or inclinations or things that can be their trigger. And so it becomes really important to know what your triggers can be and to do what you can to heal, and also do what you can to be alert and vigilant about those triggers, but not so vigilant that you stress yourself out. So, okay, so there you are, you're on your baseline, you've got whatever degree of pain and other symptoms you might have. You get one of these triggers coming in, maybe it's overexertion, like my student asked me about, and there's a flare-up, and the flare-up can be a constellation of those things. Too much physical exertion, buildup of lactic acid, biochemical distress, or the mental emotional stress of exertion, or the pain of exertion. A whole bunch of different things can trigger it. And my sense is like this, is that preventing flares really depends on getting smart about looking at all these different aspects of your fibro picture and healing what you can so that your threshold gets higher, right? Like the whole thing with fibromyalgia is you have a lower threshold for when the system gets overloaded. I can run a couple of miles, but if I run 20 miles, I'm going to be wiped out for weeks. If you have fibromyalgia, and so that's my threshold. I can run a couple of miles. If I run 20 miles, I'm going to be wiped out for a week. If you got fibromyalgia, your threshold is probably lower. Your system has been sick. Your mitochondria are functioning at a lower level. Your system is more susceptible to a buildup of various toxicities that can happen when you exert yourself or you get stressed, biochemically, physically, emotionally, whatever it is. So getting your system in a more healed space, increasing that threshold. So that can involve mitochondrial health, reducing inflammation, getting your gut healthy, dealing with whatever stress, trauma, autonomic imbalance you might have, being really careful about, okay, what's going on hormonally, whether it's your adrenal system, your sex hormones, your thyroid axis. Those things are all things that are potentially treatable with lifestyle, with medications, with various approaches. And so it becomes really important to do that. I like to suggest that you think of 3 different realms, or the 3 M's as I call it. One of them is your mind-body relationships, and that means your overall mental, emotional, spiritual reality. Are you living in a state of hypervigilance from previous trauma, injury, illness, or early life adverse experience? There's a healing process that you can do, and there's many different elements to that I talk about in various videos and various teachings. That's one M, the mind-body stuff. The next circle is your metabolic biochemical stuff. That's the health of your gastrointestinal system. Whether there's an issue with handling toxicity. Do you have low-grade inflammation? What's your hormonal status? Are you eating stuff that's nourishing or stuff that's poisoning to you? There's a whole bunch of different elements of your metabolism, your biochemistry, that are healable through lifestyle. And the last thing, the third M, is your motor or mechanical structural system. Your nerves, muscles, bones, joints, the system that moves you through the air, through the world. It's not just a bunch of Lincoln logs and rubber bands. It's alive, it's biochemically active. Your muscles, when you use them, are producing chemistry that calms your brain, that decreases inflammation, if it's done in the right amount. So all these are elements of healing yourself, basically, of becoming proactive and taking on the mindset that, look, I'm going to heal. I'm going to learn what I need to do so I can start taking these 3 realms of mind, body, metabolic, and mechanical motor, and I'm going to see how I can heal, how I can actually bring all of those systems to a higher place. I'm saying this because I've seen so many people who've had that mindset, who've had that approach of, look, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to heal, I'm going to find what works for me. I want to encourage you to put that mindset on. Start doing it. Watch my stuff. Read other people's books. Read my stuff online. You know, there's a learning and a healing process, and everyone has access to it to a certain point. And I encourage you to jump on that and move forward. And so that's really the story about fibro flares. There's a lot of details. Stay tuned and tune in for more of that. You can join my Facebook group. You can join my email community by going to drschillerlearn.com, DRSHILLER learn.com, and join my email community, and you'll get announcements about these things. Thanks a lot for watching. If you've liked this and you want to help other people with chronic pain and chronic illness through an integrative approach, please share this with other people. So thanks for watching. I encourage you to put your comments down below, questions, so I can respond to them at some point soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Where's the off button? Finish. There we go. All right, take care.